We were doing quite the bit of mouth squawking off air here for like an hour.
Oh, right.
But we will not bring that on. Well, a good bit of people, I think, at least I know a couple people would enjoy hearing us discuss some of these political matters we were discussing. But that is not our appeal, maybe? I don't know. I don't
Forte?
think... I don't think
we've done it before.
We have done it before, but we generally try to not have the show dedicated to awful things in the news. But I will say I will dedicate this cold open to something awful that I witnessed recently.
Okay.
And that was last night. I watched The Smashing Machine starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Not good?
He did a really good job. I thought all the actors were really good. The acting was really good. It looked good because it was like set 97 to 2000 and they used like this camera style that made it look like it was.
Oh, okay.
So that was all well done. The fight scenes were kind of cool. For a movie about like an MMA fighter with a drug addiction, there was no story.
None?
No, it was just like, I just didn't know. Like, I thought something was going to happen. Like, I'm waiting for something to happen, some story to unravel. Because they brought up a few key plot points, like him and his girlfriend fighting and him fighting his demons and then fighting real people, and it's like, oh, is he going to overcome? But nothing. Well, even the MMA fights were just like, I don't care about the outcome. I'm
sure there was probably some dog shit that he didn't win in the movie. Like, the actual guy probably didn't win in the movie.
Well, not really, because I guess they based this off a documentary that recently came out, and apparently you just watch the documentary and it's better.
Oh, okay.
But it was just like a lot, like there was one scene that was just like him bitching at his girlfriend about not trimming a cactus, and then he just goes and trims the cactus. And that's the scene.
Oh, wow.
He like scoops leaves out of a pool. So it's just like, can we just film people going about their real lives and all the mundane bullshit they do, and then just backdrop it by like, well, he's sober now, so he's a little irritable. But then that's it. I don't care about any of that. It's called The Smashing Machine. He smashes faces. I want to see lots of smashing. There was minimal smashing. In fact, it seemed like they fast forward every fight. Matter of fact, every fight was the same.
Oh, yeah?
Ground and pound.
Whoa, yeah.
And maybe his fights were all ground and pound, but I feel like he could have dazzled it up a little.
You want him to throw like a rock bottom in there or something?
The best part of the movie is they had Bass Rutten in it playing himself. Okay. But he's 60 now, and he's supposed to be playing like 35-year-old Bass Rutten. And it was no different. It was just old man Bass Rutten being funny as fuck. I was like, why is he in this movie as himself when everyone else is played by an actor? He's just playing himself. But 25 years ago. It didn't make any sense. Like, it was fucking stupid. But it was a funny movie in that regard. It was the only enjoyable part. But like I said, The Rock did a really good job. Like, you watch it, like, you don't even think it's The Rock. Doesn't even really look like him.
Well, because like I heard some people talking about it, and they didn't like the makeup. They didn't think it worked.
Well, they gave him like prosthetic ears, but I didn't realize it wasn't his ears until like halfway through the movie. And his hair looked stupid, but the real life guy's hair looks stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was really good.
Didn't they have to do something like with like his bridge and
his eyes looked different, but again, it didn't look like The Rock, but it looked like the real guy. The main thing was The Rock's like 53 and he's supposed to be playing like a 20-something-year-old. But it still works because Mark Kerr in real life when he was in his 20s
was like a big guy like that.
Well,
right?
He looked like The Rock now. I don't know. I thought that was good, but yeah, I just like a lot of times I found myself just like looking at my phone because I was just like, is something gonna unfold? No. Okay, fuck it.
So not with all the Oscar hype and stuff it's been getting.
Not as a movie, no.
What about just Rock as acting?
Maybe he could get nominated. I don't see him winning, but I mean, I'd be okay with him getting nominated. But again, it's one of those things too. Is like, did he do a super excellent job as this character, or is it just because The Rock normally just plays The Rock and now he's not playing The Rock? So you're like, ooh, he's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was okay in that regard, but not a movie I wouldn't watch again. 2, wouldn't recommend anybody else watch.
No, did you like rent it off or something, or how'd you?
Amazon Prime. And I should have known no shit because it was normally $20 to rent. It was down to $5.
Ooh.
Yeah, it dropped down to $5. But I had Discover Cashback points or whatever, so I just used that. So I didn't actually pay for it. But it sucks because my other choice was: do I watch this, the original Rocky, which I think I have on DVD, so that's I don't want to pay
right. You just have to be trying to find it.
Yeah, I don't want to pay $5 to fucking watch a 50-year-old movie.
God.
Yeah, Jesus, dude. Or, which is the one, because I don't know if I know I watched it when I was like a kid or something, but I don't remember watching it in my adult life. The first Rambo. Think about watching the first Rambo. There's only one guy dies in that, and it's an accidental death.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no like crazy killing in Rambo. Which is funny because every other movie, including Rambo 2, is just hundreds of people.
I always
dying.
wondered how the book was.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be interesting. It might be a good book. But that is all I have in movie news, Spencer.
You know what you should have done? You should have just went on YouTube and just like looked up compilations of Rocky fights, because that's what you said you just wanted to see.
That's what I did.
Oh, that's what you ended up doing?
Remember I told you I've been watching a shitload of Rocky?
Well, yeah, but I thought, well, maybe.
Yeah, I just watching Rocky. I just like the Rocky fighting. I mean, my main thing was kind of got me into, which is fucked up, is one of my favorite scenes of all time that somebody combined from the first movie and the second movie. Was Rocky's talking to, maybe it's like a loan shark or something in his car. He's talking about his girlfriend. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, she's retarded, right? And then Rocky's like, no, she's not retarded. And he's like, oh, you should take her to the zoo. Retards love the zoo. And he's like, oh, fuck you. And he wants to fight the guy. But then the next clip is from Rocky 2 when he takes her to the zoo. And she's like, why are we at the zoo? And Rocky's like, well, you know.
And it's the middle of winter. They're like walking through piles of snow. There's not even any animals out.
It's just like the implication that he does think she's actually mentally challenged and she would like the zoo. And he was like, you like the zoo.
Well, maybe he likes the zoo.
Well, I can see it. He get a lot of brain damage.
Right?
CTE galore. Anyway, today's episode is, if you haven't been able to tell from the cold open, is a DBS.
Yeah, first one of the year.
Yeah, we haven't done one in a while, actually.
We haven't done one in a year.
Wow. So we're going to do that. So we'll be back. Don't have a topic. We'll come up with one.
Hopefully.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully. You're listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me, as always, Spencer, the Lincoln Lord Liquor Church.
Oh.
You said log layer.
Yeah.
But as we've established long ago, you can't give your own name because your name is never going to be as bad as the name I will come up with.
Probably.
You can't give your, I'm the lady lover.
Yeah.
No, fuck you. You're not the lady lover. You're the Lord Liquor. You lick a lard. Tub?
Like a tub of lard?
Like a tub? Out of the tub? Or do you have is it on the body? You licking lard that's still on the body of whatever animal has the lard?
No, the lard is by itself. It's in like a container. I kind of eat it like ice cream.
Is it like Fight Club lard? It's in an old bag for bio waste.
Yeah.
Yuck. So after deliberate and methodical research that lasted about 12 seconds, I looked up writing and then went to the news articles. And the first news article was State Board of Education approves new reading writing standards. What state board? I don't know. WRAL News. So what state is that? Rhode Island?
Maybe.
I don't know what state it is. This did come out. This is today. Yeah, this week. It doesn't say. I'll say Pennsylvania, but I don't think that's correct. So going into next year's school year, they'll be having more of an emphasis on poetry and expanding reading and writing in the curriculum. And apparently kids are supposed to be getting smarter. I don't believe it. But I would like to discuss a topic that kind of brings about, and it relates to me because I'm a selfish asshole.
Okay.
And I was thinking of your fucking character of the story you named Jack Ash.
Yeah.
Ashhole.
Yeah.
Somebody should call him an ashhole, by the way. It's a good one. So, because I'm selfish and I always wanted things to, temperatures are going to plummet tomorrow.
Yeah, we're supposed to be getting some snow, I guess.
Oh, yucky. ADHD moment. Because I want to have everything relate to me, I'm going to bring this to my reading list that I shared recently of my next few reads.
Okay.
So, as you know, I would hope you know because I gave it to you the other day, we're going to be reading The Butcher of Nazareth for next month's Book of the Month.
Yes.
By David Scott Hay. I don't think that's going to be a challenging read necessarily, but it is an interesting topic. After that, though, what is Caleb going to be reading? Now, I'm reading a Jack London collection that has, what stories does it have? Into the Wild, or whatever, Call of the Wild. I read that, really good. I'm reading The Sea Wolf now, which I'm having a little bit of trouble getting through just because I don't, it's written very well, but I don't necessarily care about what I'm reading. And then the third story is White Fang. I might put off White Fang to read The Butcher, go back and finish that because then that collection's done.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a big like novella novel collection. And then I'm going to read, Spencer, the list I shared, and I don't know the exact order, but I do know the next book is Brothers Karamazov, Michael Katz translation. It's the newest one. Or at least when I bought it, it was the newest one. So I'm very excited for that, but that's a big one.
Yeah.
But I figured Dostoevsky in the winter is a must, and I need to do my winter read.
And it's been a while since you've read...
I read Crime and Punishment last year, so I haven't read any Dostoevsky since, any Russian literature since. So I'm going to read that. But then after that, it gets real murky. And I don't know the order of this, but I decided Finnegan's Wake, the hardest of hard books, nonsense book. But I want to read it just to say I did. And I've looked up some videos on it, and they're all ridiculous. Like nothing about it. Well, also the hardcore literature group that I follow. I don't follow. I listen to the podcast, Benjamin McAvoy. But like I don't sign up for, I wish I did, but it was one of those things I would have to do years ago to really get it because he has like a reading group. And if you sign up to his Patreon, you're getting all this like lectures and they go through all these books and they read all these fucking great books every year. But it's one of those ones like I could do the back catalog, but I would listen to his news episode where he released the next coming year's books. And I don't think they're doing it, but he was planning on doing it. It was Finnegan's Wake. But he made it sound like it was so good and a masterpiece and all this. I'm like, it's nonsense.
Isn't that one where we found that video of it's like there's been a book club they've been doing for like years? I
think they've been going for like 20 or 30 years, just dedicated to the one. That was their first read through. Just their first read through was like 20 plus years. I'm thinking about reading that. I will not be that dedicated to it. I will read it and listen to an audio version of it at the same time. Not at the same time I'm reading, but you know, after I'll listen to the chapters. Then that'll be done forever, and I want to read James Joyce again, probably. Then I was thinking, which I'm going to go pick up today if I get... It'll be funny, because I pick up this book every fucking time I go to Barnes & Noble.
It won't be there.
And this will be the one time it won't be there. Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon. Because fuck me, right? Why not just go extra hard?
I want you to have trouble finding it, and you have to ask one of the like ladies there working, be like, hey, do you have the Gravity? And they just slap you.
Punch me right in the fucking dick. So, Gravity's Rainbow. And then what was the other terribly hard? Maybe that was it. Let me look at that post.
I thought there was 3 of them.
I think it was. But I figured that'll take me 6 to 8 months for those. Yeah, that was it. So those are the 3 hard ones of the year. I set my reading goal to 15 books. And I will be reading probably between one of those books, probably after Brothers Karamazov. Maybe even before Starlight Pulp. I'm getting the new issue.
Oh, okay.
So I would like to read that, but that's short story, so I might even just read short story while I'm, take a break from Brothers Karamazov because it's melting my brain, read a couple short stories. You know how that goes. So I will probably do that. And then since we already did the Sugar Man, we're going to do the Butcher of Nazareth. I don't think there's anything on the docket required of me other than our big book club book I recommended for the comic book club we're in.
Well, we also mentioned we were going to probably try to get Andy Weir's
Hail Mary
in because the movie comes out sometime in March.
But I figure that's one I could read.
Yeah,
in a couple days.
that shouldn't be too difficult of a one, I would think.
Yeah, so I'll read that in a couple days, and I'll probably enjoy that really thoroughly. What was the other fucking fun read? Real fun. Cormac McCarthy's The Road graphic novel adaptation we were going to do on here as like a book of the month. And that'll probably be in the summer or spring. So plenty of time to get to that. But again, that's not going to be a hard read. And I also already read The Road. So did you. So we have some kind of semblance of understanding of the material.
It'd be interesting to see how, because I flipped through it, but I haven't looked at it to see how they predict that, how they show things and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because the movie
has to be very bleak.
Because if I remember the movie, they just everything it just looked like
gray.
Yeah, it was just like a heavy fog machines to make give it like that
hellscape.
Yeah,
Silent Hill hellscape. Also, which it's just a terrible idea. This summer, I'm going to reread.
Oh,
can you guess? You already know because I mentioned it before.
You did?
Cormac McCarthy.
Oh, The Blood Meridian.
I'm going to reread Blood Meridian. And hopefully this time actually like it. Now that I know not just what Blood Meridian's about, but Cormac, since I've read so many of his books now, I'm like, okay, now I could go with this proper lens. Because when we went into that, I read The Road,
and that was it?
Which is his easiest book to read, and that was it. And I just go right to his hardest, so... Maybe now that, especially if I read fucking Gravity's Rainbow and Finnegan's Wake.
Did you finish all 3 of the
Border trilogy?
Yeah.
No, I read the All the Pretty Horses, which was excellent, and then the next one's The Crossing. I'll probably start reading that this summer too. Those are ones like you don't have to read those back to back to back.
Right.
The problem is like I'm getting near the end of Cormac McCarthy's bibliography, so it's like
are you trying to hold off?
It's
now?
like what I do with like different dead authors. It's like, well, I'm just kind of pace them out because then eventually they're going to be done.
Yeah.
Then I can't read anymore. And he doesn't have he's not like a Stephen King. He doesn't have hundreds of books,
Right.
What else, Spencer? That's it. Why did I bring this up? I brought this up because I'm obviously reading very challenging books. This past year, my challenging books were Moby Dick, I guess.
Right.
Was probably the most challenging. Because I read Crime and Punishment. I didn't think it was challenging. But, Ulysses. That was probably the most challenging. I read Ulysses and Moby Dick this past year. Well, reread Moby Dick, but this time I really gave it my American all. I really guts it out, and I really buckled down and read it like you should. And I fucking love whaling now. I love whaling. I'd like to read a Moby Dick Japanese version of their hatreds of whales. If this is a love letter to whales, I want to read the hatred letter of Japanese have for whales. Fuck you, a whale. Fuck you, a dolphin. So, going into this year, even more difficult reads, and then just being done with all the difficult reads. Because, like I said, after that, I don't really have anything that'll be after Finnegan's Wake. What's challenging,
Yeah.
I have flirted with the idea, which I mentioned on here, is rereading Alan Moore's Jerusalem. Again, like how I reread Moby. Yeah, but like how I did Moby Dick, gave it like the all American try, like really buckle down and read it in one sitting versus years and years of reading that book. But also, I have that trilogy collection now. Remember?
Oh, so
I can read the individual books instead of fucking reading it one giant human nonsense tomb. Oh, and then we do got to read 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami.
Yeah.
That'll be a reread for me. But again, I got the 3-book version now instead of reading it in one stupid book.
Right.
So I bring all this to say, tie it back into that news article about expanding reading curriculum. There is, Spencer, one of the guys, which I already forget his name. I always forget his name. But this Harvard professor guy, or he was a Harvard professor. He's very young. I showed you some of his videos. I think he discusses mainly poetry. He believes, he's a very optimistic fellow, that there's going to be a renaissance. We're on the precipice of falling into a new renaissance, and he believes that what'll follow is more literature and poetry, and he actually broke it down in a way that made sense. It was like he gave examples of how everything we're experiencing now in the past has always led to a new renaissance.
Oh, just because of like more people will be like writing about and
so like just break into a new, when you think of the Lost Generation and postmodernism, or you think of the Romantic Renaissance with Gothic literature. There's always something where writers finally, and not just writers, but art, science, everything. It's a renaissance. It all goes, like we get sick of everything, and then we go into a new age of enlightenment, so to speak. So he thinks we're on the verge of another one of those, which would be cool. But I think in order to do that, not only do people, especially American citizens, or just people in this country in general, need to embrace reading again.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I think it has to go beyond that. Especially if we're going to lead to a new renaissance, which we've already seen. Like, there's a lot of YouTube channels dedicated to more difficult reads and very enthusiastic practitioners of reading difficult works, which I'm surprised. Not just like the hardcore literature group, but we think of our classic lit group we're in, or just a lot of the writer videos I'll send you, which like maybe not people I actually follow on YouTube, but like just the discussion of writing and how to do it. You get a lot of references to more difficult works like Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse and things like that. And I'm thinking what we need in not just the school curriculum, because if school curriculum does it right, or if they just do it in general, kids hate it.
Yeah.
like you think of Emily Dickinson. I still don't read Emily Dickinson because school made me hate Emily Dickinson. Unjustly so. They even almost made me hate Steinbeck.
Wow.
Because like they did Grapes of Wrath in a way that I fucking hate. And I didn't hate the book, but it was like they did it in packets.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we didn't just read the book and have cool discussions. We had to do fucking packets on it. And I don't give a shit about Grapes of Wrath, and I still haven't reread it because of that. Another one on my list this year to reread, by the way. I think that we have to find a way to get people interested in reading again. And then once we do that, we have to get the average reader interested in reading more challenging work. I'm not saying you have to read Finnegan's Wake or Ulysses or any of the fucking nonsense I read, but not YA fluff read, not fantasy smut, not things that you can, like I always mention, how you can watch like an action movie and kind of, or even like I watched The Smashing Machine last night. you could fade out, zone out, fuck around on your phone, come back, and you're still in the plot. You know what's going on, even if you weren't paying attention for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No. I want people to be able to read works that you actually have to pay attention to every page, every sentence, every fucking paragraph needs to be something that you're like, oh, if I didn't, like Moby Dick, like if I zone out on Moby Dick, I mean, it's pretty stupid. I won't know how harpoons work. Yeah. But like if you zone out on chunks of the book. But
what happened to all the seamen?
Yeah, but if you zone out on chunks of the book, you're not reading the book, you know, you're missing it. I think it's important to read works that, again, it doesn't have to be, oh, every book I read's challenging, but throw in a fucking hard book once every 6 months, you know? Or what would be something like, okay, I would say, like, say you're a comic book reader, fucking throw a Watchmen in every year, you know, something like that. Something that's not just your typical, oh, I can read this in 10 minutes.
Well, that's what I'll reiterate how I've always advocated for like kids, trying to get kids to read comics just on the sole purpose of
getting into reading.
Into reading, period, even if they don't stick with comics as they get older, but hopefully they will stick with the wanting to read, you know, making them want to read things.
Well, it's like the gym. You have to go into it and build your base, and then you can start challenging yourself. If you don't even have the base, then you're never going to, like, where a lot of people fail is, I heard Moby Dick is one of the all-time great novels. I'm not really a reader, but I'm going to go ahead and read Moby Dick. 99 out of 100, you're not going to fucking, not even get past the first half of it. Or even probably the first couple chapters. You're like, I don't understand. Because that's, you just jumped right into trying to bench 405 when you can't even bench the bar.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to work. You're going to fucking hurt yourself. So, Spencer, and I'm going to throw this ball to you.
Me?
Brother. You know why? Because out of the two of us, you read,
I'm the simpleton.
You read the far less challenging stuff in general.
Yeah.
Because, you know, your basis is more like Stephen King and more genre and escapism works. And I will attest to this as a man who not only makes you read stupid things, but someone who volunteers to read stupid things, such as Divine Comedy, which was your idea.
Yeah.
So I was wanting to read that.
I was interested.
Like you do in the gym, you fucking throw a stupid idea at me and hope I don't say, let's do it. And then I say, let's do it. And now we have a fucking terrible workout because we have to do something very difficult. So you throw a terrible book at me, you're like, oh, I hope he doesn't want to read the Divine Comedy. And then I say, hey, I found the translation for us, buddy. And then now we're doing it. But as someone who I feel has jumped into reading, like I mentioned, a couple difficult works a year. Not every read you're reading is hard, but you'll throw them in. Do you think that's a good way of going about it? Is like, I'm going to try to slowly level up here by every once in a while reading something that I wouldn't normally read.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially if you're somebody like me now, like you said, you might have some of those select few who are like really fast readers, really, you know, a little bit maybe more intelligent or whatever, you know, they might gravitate to that harder stuff to begin with, you know. But yeah, as somebody who doesn't normally do that as much, or is whatever it is when it comes to that harder stuff, like you said, comes from you. I do, yeah, I think the peppering it in is probably the best way to go.
If you join some sort of book club, that's usually a good way to help push you forward if you're not into, one, if you don't know what to read, and two, if you're not really into, like, if you don't know anything about challenging literature other than, like, oh, here's the hardest books list or things like that. Joining, like, book clubs is a good way because, like, maybe somebody will mention a harder book and then it's not that you're forced to read it, but it's just like, okay, I'm going to embrace it.
It gives you a reason to.
Yeah, and then even if you don't understand it or you're struggling, maybe other people in the group are in the same boat, well, whereas some others in the group are you know, they understand it more and it can help you understand
and then it also
help push you.
It also might, like I say, will give you like a reason, because like even like with our comic book club that we're in, because you suggested it, we were going to be reading The Fade Out by Ed Brubaker, and like that's one of my favorite comic book writers. I've been wanting to read it for years now, and there's been no reason why I shouldn't have. But now, it's a reason to, you know, it gives me an excuse.
Well, over the past few years, because like we were talking about different levels, so like what's not difficult for me might be difficult for you, you know? Whereas something that you might be really into might not be my bag. But that's one good thing about like our Stephen King thing is I read a Stephen King book, I suggest a book to you. I ended up reading some Stephen King books I might not necessarily have read on my own, and you end up reading some books that you might not read on your own. So in the past few years, though, what would you say were some of the more challenging books for you that either we've read or you've just read?
I mean, the fucking
the Divine Comedy.
Yeah, it's like the all-time challenging one. But like that's what I've been trying to think about that because like even
I think of that Wii book that you read because even I might not have been challenging.
Yeah,
but that's not something that you would have sought out normally.
Yeah, and because like that's what I was gonna say because like even some of what might be considered like I don't know like challenging because even like some of like maybe like the older books are just like I don't feel like necessarily challenging
books you wouldn't have normally read.
Yeah,
outside of your comfort zone or just outside of what you normally read.
Yeah,
I would imagine for something like the Ray Bradbury stuff you've read.
Probably
even Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah, and then, because again, it kind of goes into like, oh, these are people that I've heard about or know of, never got around to it, but like you said, but now like you gave me the excuse to read those, so, but like I said, like, it's not even like those were like, difficult as in like they were hard. They might be difficult just because of like the time that they were written in, maybe
the style,
and stuff like that. But I don't know, like I haven't really had too much of a thing to where it's just like, well, like how you just like, you've crashed out over like, like you're just I don't know, I can't, I fucking do it, no. And the next time I see you, be like, I read another 100 pages. It's like you just fucking keep on just fucking going back. Like somebody in an abusive relationship that just won't leave.
I have the self-hatred streak, so I like not just challenging myself, but doing things that I should hate.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes with reading and the gym.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, hey, Spencer, today we are doing a gauntlet of, a deadlift gauntlet. You're like, why? For the love of God. And I'm just like, because I want to hurt myself. And my brain hasn't been hurt enough by Moby Dick.
Because so I feel good and I can't have that.
I feel good. I don't like being comfortable. Because that leads to fucking slacking. And I hate slackers and hippies. Those goddamn dope smoking hippies. So, Spencer, I think I do a fairly good job of lightly suggesting books for you to read every year that are challenging, but still you're capable of reading. I don't think I've ever given you anything. Blood Meridian, maybe.
Yeah, but that was a group effort on that.
We all went into that dumb, not knowing what we were getting into. But beyond that, I don't think I've ever suggested or convinced you to read something that was beyond your scope. The most challenging, like I said, was the Divine Comedy, but I specifically sought out a translation that I felt would have been not just easier to understand, but more enjoyable to read versus some of the traditional translations.
I was gonna think maybe some of the more difficult, but I even still kind of like them. Is like you got me into reading like the more like the Conan and the Solomon Kane and some H.P. Lovecraft,
and then like some of the Japanese authors I've had you read over the years. I feel like the subject matter might be somewhat challenging, but usually the writing's not anything crazy. Another one, which actually you surprised me, because again, when I feel if you're able to push people in build up their confidence as readers, and again, this can also go to the gym or any aspect of their life, but we'll use reading. Build up your confidence as a reader and encourage you to read things that are a little bit outside of your scope. You'll eventually start doing it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the ones that you sought out in the past few years that I was impressed with was the H.G. Wells stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't read that stuff, but you read that stuff. And you started seeking out different fiction that I haven't read yet. And you've, for the most part, enjoyed it. The only one I could think of that maybe was challenging that you didn't get through yet was the H.P. Lovecraft stuff. Like you read some of the Lovecraft stuff, whereas I read most of it, but I don't think I pushed you to it, but
no,
you didn't necessarily seek it out yourself. No, I don't think either.
Yeah, because like that's something I have. Like I got like a collection on my Kindle, And then, so I think it was like, hey, well, let me just get some stuff. You know, I got it for like my birthday or Christmas one year. I was like, well, let me buy some stuff. And I think that was around the time you were reading it. And I was like, well, Caleb's talking about this. I can buy like the whole thing for like $2 or something, you know. And and I made it through like 25% of that. And like it's been years since I've gone back. I keep on telling myself I should just go back and like you said, like read like a story and then go to something else. But
the problem with Lovecraft is you can read a story and it'll take a fucking week.
And also with Howard, I enjoy reading Conan and
not necessarily the Lovecraft.
Yeah, like Lovecraft, I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, but I'm just kind of like pretentious asshole.
Well, here's the thing too that's important, especially for people if we're talking about expanding your reading habits and going from general reader to more challenging reader. You have to be willing to just say, I'm not enjoying this, and if I'm not enjoying this and my focus isn't there, it's not worth reading. Mm-hmm. You have to be willing to abandon books.
But you never abandon books. Very rarely.
Honestly, anytime I've abandoned books, it's because it wasn't the challenging, or it's because it sucked.
Yeah.
I just like, this is because sometimes I'm not afraid to say this book's a waste of time because it's not good, or at least I don't think it's good. There's a thing like if I read Ulysses and I wasn't enjoying any aspect of it, I would have just said fuck it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I did with what was it? Not Blood Meridian. Because again, I don't think we gave that a fair shake.
We gave it the fairest shake we could at the time.
Yeah. Wasn't there something I read not too long ago where it was a do not finish? Like I don't do that very often, but I think there was. And it wasn't a hard book by any means. It was just like, this is fucking the Knight's Gambit by Faulkner.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is stupid. Like I just don't care.
And wasn't there like a poetry thing that you didn't finish from the one poet you didn't like?
T.S. Eliot.
Yeah. Didn't you read like the one and was like, oh, this is the garbage?
No, I read most of it. I think I read all of Eliot. Maybe I skipped the last couple. I don't know. Usually I'll try to get halfway through it at minimum before I make my judgment. But like I think that Zone 0 or Zone 1 or whatever, that Colson Whitehead book that I did for Arcade Bookshop. Mm-hmm. I fucking hated it so much I didn't even make it halfway. I said, fuck this.
Well, I mean, how many of those books for that podcast did you finish?
I think most of them.
Well, I just remember there being a couple ones that you didn't even bother reading.
Like Player Piano. Yeah. Bryce's suggestions I didn't finish. Because he wanted to read Player Piano of Vonnegut, and I halfway through, I just said, I don't fucking care. I just stopped reading it. But like the Ray Bradbury, something with this Wicked This Way, because I really enjoyed that. Which it was funny because I started, I thought I was going to abandon it because I didn't think I was going to like it. It's the way it was written, but then I once I got in the groove. Anyway,
so real quick, since you were asking me about me going with my own direction on some of the hard things, you've also gone your own direction on some of the Stephen King books that you've read too. Like some of them I was like, oh, you should read this, and some of them you were just like, this is the one I'm reading. Out of like, what any of those surprised you of like that you didn't think would maybe be as good or better than what you thought you thought?
Whereas I didn't think Salem's Lot was amazing by any means, I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not a big vampire guy anyway, and it's kind of a retelling of Dracula. I just didn't think it was going to be that good, and I mean, I give it like a solid B.
Yeah,
like I said, I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but I didn't think it was going to be as enjoyable as it was. My expectations were low on that. Whereas Pet Sematary was the opposite. I thought I was going to enjoy it a lot more, but I mainly just like the Woods talk.
Yeah,
but yeah, Stephen King. I mean, a lot of the stuff I read this year was because there was movies coming out.
Right. True.
I still got to read it though, but yeah, like the Stephen King stuff, like I know what I'm going because I read Stephen King before I knew you, so it's not like I wasn't I didn't know Stephen King or anything. Stephen King's one of those ones where I treat that as dessert. Yeah, generally.
I was gonna say I was gonna think maybe the one that maybe surprised you the most was Revival.
Revival, I really really enjoyed. I forgot about that. I was thinking just this year, but yeah, Revival I thought was amazing, and I also really liked Dr. Sleep as well. Yeah, I thought that was really good. Yeah, Stephen King's one of those ones, like, I can't read a lot in a short span because I get fatigued with the writing. And maybe that's just because I'm advancing as a writer myself. But I don't like when I read stuff that I go, I could write this. Not saying I could write, like, it or something like that. I'm just saying, like so we, like, read The Divine Farce and stuff, and, like, I think to myself, oh, I could write this. But it's short enough that I can enjoy it. But if I had to read 500 pages or something like that written in that style, and I keep reading it, eventually I'll just go, maybe I should just write something like this and just say, fuck this book. I'll just write a better version, Yeah. So I don't generally, that's why I gravitate, I think, to more challenging work, because I like to read things that I can't. I would imagine it's just like, if you can do something, why would you seek it out from someone else?
To keep it with the gym references, is it like watching those strongman competitions, knowing that you can't pick up a car and walk around in a circle with
it? That's the thing. Like if I watch like a fucking powerlifting meet, and then it's just like everyone like max benching 225 or squatting 315 or something. It's like, well, why would I care about something I can do?
Yeah, why am I watching this while I could be doing it?
Yeah, it's like, watching middle school basketball. It's like, this isn't going to be as entertaining as watching NBA.
Well, maybe now.
Maybe now. But it's like, at one point, like, it's not going to be as entertaining as watching the pros because I can't play like the pros.
Yeah.
I can beat those fucking kids.
Thwap.
Yeah. So, like, it's hard for me to read a lot of fiction that I feel like I'm on that level or even better than. That's also a problem why...
With comics?
No, with indie authors. It's like a lot of indie authors, it's like, it's hard to read people I'm better than, I'm not being a condescending asshole. No, there are some examples where the writing doesn't necessarily matter because the imagination is amazing, the story idea or something. If the story's really, because that's another thing, is like storytelling matters too.
Right, yeah.
So if you're telling a story in a really good way, it doesn't matter if the writing's not the best, it's not Herman Melville.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. But if it's something I feel like I could do, I'd rather be reading something I can't, because then it's like, one, I'm learning different things, but two, I just feel like it's a little more entertaining.
Well, I thought of another one for me, the Poe.
Poe, yeah, you need
Poe from last year. Granted, it was
the poetry stuff.
Yeah, it was a handful of poems, but I never thought I would even fucking really do that.
What do you have on the docket, or would you like to read that would be more challenging for you? So obviously, like a Moby Dick, you're not gonna want to read.
No.
But like, is there something on the list that or even just an author? It's like, I'm gonna check out the work, even though it's gonna be challenging.
I don't know about challenging, because like I said, like that's not even stuff that I normally kind of really think about. But maybe because I would like to get back. I haven't read any Murakami in a while. Just in like that would be more challenging of just trying to follow, or what I mean, just with him, just doing his shenanigans, like what I mean. Yeah, but like I haven't really felt like I haven't read any. I mean, unless maybe some more older like.
Well, we talked about Poe. Would you?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I probably wouldn't mind like reading maybe something like the Telltale Heart, or we've even talked about I forget the name, but the detective story,
Murder in the Rue Morgue.
Yeah, because you haven't even read that, right?
No, that's one of the few I haven't read.
So yeah,
that's a longer one. Also,
so yeah, something like that I'd probably be interested in, checking out.
Also, more Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah, I do have my collection of Sherlock Holmes that it just sits there and looks at me.
Well, I'm gonna end the episode by listing some things that I think you should read, but I would want your opinion on if you actually want to read them. 1, East of Eden by John Steinbeck.
Yeah,
it's a long one though. It's not hard to read, but it's long, and it's obviously just by the title, it's steeped in theology. It's very Christian.
Yeah, if not that one, more just Steinbeck in general is another guy that I would.
Grapes of Wrath is another.
Now, you read a lot of stuff? Would you say his stuff is challenging?
Themes, but not the writing.
Yeah.
If you could read Hemingway, you could read Steinbeck. It's not challenging. Okay, so that was the easy one though, because I knew you were gonna want to read some of that. Any Shakespeare. You figure most of the plays are 50 to 100 pages in that small book collections I have, so they're not long.
The only thing like I worry about like Shakespeare, because like you talking about him and other people, like it's just the language I worry about. Well, that's what it is. Like,
but would you consider reading like I would suggest maybe like a Macbeth?
Okay,
because there's some murder and stuff.
Yeah,
but also it's a little more fun because you got like the boil, toil and trouble, the witches and shit. Would you consider reading some Dickens, knowing that it is Victorian language, so it's a more challenging language and often long? So you think Great Expectations or anything like that?
I mean, maybe Christmas Carol.
I would. Yeah, that's a good start.
Because I remember you talking about really
that's actually a good idea.
That.
Yeah.
So like if I were to read any Dixon, it'd probably be that.
That's a good start.
To like you said, at least to test the waters.
Right. That's actually a good idea. So Christmas Carol. We already talked about Poe. I feel like you don't have to read more Lovecraft other than maybe I like Shadow over Innsmouth. I don't know if you read that one yet or not. Or Color Out of Space is a good one.
I remember reading that one. That I'd have to go back onto my Kindle and like look at the table of contents to see where I left off.
So here's what it would be challenging for the names, but I think that would be the only thing that would be challenging. Would be Crime and Punishment, the edition I had.
That's what you were. I remember you saying that before.
Would you consider reading a very long Russian novel? It's one of those ones where I feel like it levels you up as a reader, and then also is the old bucket list where it's like, if somebody comes up to you and is like, "Hey Spencer, what have you read this year that was, you'd be like Crime and Punishment."
Yeah.
Even because that's one of those ones that, if especially non-readers, they're like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
that's got to be like one of the hardest." They don't know.
Right.
They don't know it's actually not that hard to read unless you read the Russian version. But you're like, "Oh man, you read Crime and Punishment." But that's one of those ones too. I feel like it gives you a more sense of fulfillment. And like, I was having nightmares about that book when I was reading.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't happen to me very often because like, even though it's not really graphic or anything, the actual moral implications seeped into my subconscious. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember you telling me about it, and it was just like, oh, that seemed, like it seemed interesting, and, the story and the plot and stuff, yeah.
Now, here's one that it would be more of an undertaking, and obviously this would go with our Stephen King kind of me having to read it or something. It would be The Lord of the Rings. So, Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Those ones I always keep on telling myself, like, I'm gonna surprise Caleb one day.
Do it.
And I'm just gonna like maybe not like the whole thing, but like the first one or something, and just be like, and just have it on the table and just slide it across or something. But then like,
you could read just The Hobbit first, just to get because if you don't like The Hobbit, you're not gonna like Lord of the Rings.
Now, do you feel like you should read The Hobbit before?
Yeah, you gotta read The Hobbit first. If you don't read The Hobbit, there's a lot you're gonna miss in Lord of the Rings. And it's easier because it's supposed to be a kid's.
You're right.
It's supposed to be a kid's book.
Yeah, because it was written that way first, right? It was written. The Hobbit was written first, and then The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so you read The Hobbit, and like I said, if you don't like The Hobbit, you're not gonna like The Lord of the Rings at all. So that would be enough. Also, that's another one I want to reread: Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Well, you were talking about wanting to do that like once a year.
I think once I get all these fucking challenging books out of the way, I could start doing that.
Yeah.
And this is one of those ones like I don't have to read the whole trilogy. I just read the bits I like.
And then Caleb starts wearing a robe and a very pointy hat. We're smoking a long pipe.
I have all those things. I just haven't utilized them. I have a long pipe. I don't smoke, but I have a long pipe.
Start yelling at your wife. You shall not pass.
You shall not pass. She says that to me a lot during intimate moments that are only intimate on my end. At night, I go over and, hey, baby, you shall not pass. Where'd you get that staff? How did you get lightning to shoot out of it? Anyway, folks, that's the episode because I don't want to edit any more than I have to.
Right.
So you can follow Spencer's OnlyFans. He's down there in Kentucky, and he is kicking kids. Is that it? Kentucky Kid Kicker?
No, it was the Lincoln Lord Liquor.
Oh, Jesus. Why were you kicking kids in Kentucky? When did that happen?
They probably did something.
Was it children kids or kids as in
it
varies. Goats?
Oh, goats? I didn't know that was
I believe kids is the name for goat.
Oh, I don't
know. You can follow me at CalebJamesK.com where I update my publishing history all the time. Every day I get something new. I don't.
All the time.
And then you can follow us at DBW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Also, I got sad news, Spencer.
Aww.
You remember how we were talking about Peter Straub being dead?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out I found in my spam folder he wanted to be on the podcast some years ago, and I never got the email. I just responded, and then I was like, "Wait, is he dead?" Yeah. Also got an old one from Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
I gotta accept that. Anyway, folks, we thank you for listening, and we'll check you out next week. Maybe with a real episode. Maybe nonsense. Maybe this is the year of nonsense.
It seems that way.
Who gives a fuck? The world's nonsense, so why not the DPW podcast?
The bad nonsense.
Bad nonsense.